Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. So I will request everybody to switch on your cameras, please. Hello, everybody. Good morning. So I hope you are able to hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So maybe I will just request if you can just volunteer yourself, tell about your name and what course you're studying and what is you are looking forward in future, maybe in 1 minute or 2 minutes maximum. So who want to volunteer first and introduce yourself? Yes, students. I want this to be more of an interactive session, right? So I will just welcome all of you to the new session. And I just want you to basically switch on your camera and introduce yourself. So students, if you can let me know what you are studying and what is you're looking in the future. So, and your name, please. If you can just, few of you, if you can come on the camera and just introduce yourself. While others are joining, right? I want you to please come on the and speak about yourself and what you are studying. Harilakshmi ma'am, can we start the session? Are the
Yes.
students?
No, still they are joining, but lot of students have joined, sir.
Yes, sir.
Start. You can start, sir.
Hello.
I will request if you can switch in your camera, please, so that at least we can see. I know it's a virtual session. Yeah, thank you for switching on your camera. So I want others also to switch on your cameras. And before the others, I see a lot of people are joining, but I want you to just let me know your name and what is you're looking for the future. So whether you want to be an entrepreneur or you want to basically go into service or you want to further study or what you're studying, that will really help us to walk you through the sessions that are also coming in future.
Students, please speak, no?
Otherwise, it becomes very difficult to understand whether you're able to hear me or you're able to, any technical glitches are there in our network, right? So I want the sessions to be more interactive. So I want you to basically see when you go for an interview also, you need to speak, right? In the industry, the communication is one of the most important thing. Next is that what we are going to talk about in our sessions are basically the trends, bigger trends that are happening around the world. What you've seen in top IITs and IIMs also, if you see in the newspaper, read in the newspaper, the internship generally they used to give 100%, right? They're not having able to get that. Do you know why in the industry? What is the problem nowadays? What we see in the among the freshers that are joining is basically the lack of communication, right? The most important thing in the virtual world is that how you can communicate, how you can address your thought process to the others, right? Of course, we were going to make our session very, very interesting. And I'm not going to talk about the subjects already. Your L2, L3 teachers and your college is teaching about it. I come from the industry for more than 25 years of experience. And I'm going to talk about what is the industry looking at? What is currently is basically the trend and what is the future mega trends that are coming up and how you can equip yourself basically to enhance yourself and you can reach to the top. It will be good for me to know you better. Of course, physically, we are not able to see each other. And at this moment, the class is on virtual. So I want you to basically come onto the camera and talk about a little bit about yourself so that I can basically work along with you to enhance you and to make your skill more so that you can basically adapt to this ever-changing world. The world is very, very dynamic. As you can see, not even the COVID has passed. We have started seeing there is a major war that is happening in Russia and Ukraine, right? As you know, Russia and Ukraine, basically Ukraine is called the breadbasket of Europe. And almost 30% of the wheat are exported around the world comes from this place. You have seen that like the fertilizers, rare earth materials also come from this place. Now, if there is a conflict that is happening, that disturbs the whole ecosystem around it. You have seen with the recent, that is the conflict happening in Israel and Gaza Strait, that has disturbed the Middle East. And with the tension that is happening in the Taiwan area, China and Taiwan, that basically disrupts the thought process of the semiconductors, right? You must be knowing that Taiwan produces more than 60% of the semiconductors, right? Now, if there is any disturbance happens on the semiconductors, whatever the smartphone you're using, the smart mobile you're using, any smart equipment you're using, right? That has got chips into it. The whole ecosystem get disrupted with this disturbances that is happening around the world. So there is basically a train that is happening, a mega train that we see around the world, which is quite disruptive, and we need to adapt ourselves to this ever engine, right? When basically the computer came to India, a lot of people thought that computer would take away jobs, but ultimately, you see, that has provided millions of jobs to India, and India being an IT powerhouse in the world, right? Similarly, what we see is the trend that is happening, right? Is basically with the AI coming in, the chat GPT coming in, the Gen AI that is coming in, right? The machine learning, deep learning, cognitive learning, right? The robotics, basically enabling the young generation like you to have a lot of opportunities that is coming on your way. Isn't it, student? Yes, students.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
So what you see is that there is an enormous opportunity, but you need to know, and you have to have a passion for that, right? And only then, basically, you can reach to the top. See, each and everybody, you will have a different passion. You will have a different thought process to reach to the top. Some can climb stairs, some can take escalators, right? And there are basically some people jumping here and there and want to reach to the top. But ultimately, all of your aim is to reach to the top, right? So there are basically multiple trains that are coming up, right? You need to think through which is basically best suited for you and how that will you can adapt yourself to reach into that. So if you can, some of you can volunteer and let me know basically your name and basically what you are studying. That will really help me to modify my discussions along with you. Yes, students, who wants to volunteer first and basically let me know what you're studying and what your future you're looking at yourself. Any volunteers? So are you from the computer science background? Are you doing, if you can tell me and let me know what you are studying, your name, please. So are you able to hear me? Let's make this class more interesting. Let's communicate with each other, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Somebody want to say something? You want to say something? I think students are still coming, so I just want to have this time to know much better about yourself. So if you can tell me what are the things you're doing. So, how many of you been watching the World Cup cricket recently? I hope most of you, right?
Me.
So, did you also
Me, sir.
participate into these games like Dream 11 and all those games and choose your team? Yes, students. Like My 11 Circle, Dream 11. Have you participated in those games also? And selecting your own team?
Students, please speak. Instead of chatting with your friends, kindly answer to the sir's questions, okay? Introduce yourself. Please speak out, no?
Sir, one more. Sir, one more thing.
Your voice is not clear.
Hello. Sir, one more. Repeat.
Are you able to hear me? Yes, students.
Sir, voice is not clear. Not clear, sir.
You're not able to hear me?
Low sound, sir.
I think those who are not speaking has to be on mute, but that's why I just wanted you to please come on the camera and speak about yourself so that I know that we are able to have a two-way communication, right? So if you can switch on your camera and speak about yourself a little bit, what you are studying, what you want to do in future. Or basically, you're from which place? Are you from Bangalore? Are you from outside?
We are from Kerala, sir. Kerala.
Oh,
You
from
are
Kerala. Yeah, it's a beautiful place, right? So if you can Kerala, from which place? Kumarakom, Alleppey, Cochin, which place? Munnar.
Kozhikode.
Okay. So maybe, yeah.
From
Okay, so excellent. I think some disturbances are there. I think
Students, don't open the links next to your mobiles only so that it will get echoed, okay? If you are connected to one mobile, from that only you can speak it. Other nearest mobiles you can switch off or in mute, keep in mute condition. That it will be, your voice will be clear.
so the backwaters of Kerala is really nice, right? I've been there few times.
very offline class, online class. What is Kerala? Kerala is very beautiful place, sir. Very nice, sir. Kerala is very beautiful place.
Hari Lakshmi ma'am, I think there is some disturbances. Maybe is there any coordinator there in the college who can help the students?
There, sir. I'll just check out.
Yeah. So meantime, students, if you can let me know. So thanks that some of you are from Kerala. So maybe others, please let me know you're from which place, maybe your name and what you are studying. So yes, students. So if you can let me know. And Harilakshmi ma'am, let me know when to start the session, because still I'm seeing students are joining and there are basically some technical hitches. I think they're not able to speak or some problems. So once it's rectified, then I can start.
No, students have joined, sir. Around 140 students are there.
Okay.
Because they are sitting each other next to each other. I think both individually they have joined from the mobiles also. It's getting echoed. Same thing I am explaining them from here. I will speak to coordinator also, sir. Because around
Yeah.
400 students are there. Some
Mhm.
students have joined in the classes itself.
Yeah, that's great. So I just wanted to students to just have few of them introduce and let me know what are the subjects. Are you from the same batches, or you're from different batches, or different subjects you are pursuing? So that will really help me. Yes, students, I want few of you to volunteer and let me know your names and what you're studying.
Students, please speak, no, one by one. Not all at a time. Please speak one by one. Hello, students. If you don't speak, sir, how can sir will interact with you, no?
Yes,
Otherwise, you won't get the proper classes, correct? Then speak one by one, no?
hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, please speak so that I can know that there is proper, my voice is also reaching to you and I can hear you also, right?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. One system. India.
Okay, let me start. Maybe the others, you can speak to me. I'll just provide you inputs, and then basically I will want you to also talk, right? Now, as you can see, what we are going to learn is about how basically the world has evolved, right?
Sir, let me
Yeah.
mute all of their mobile, this thing. Whenever they want, let them put it in the chat bar, sir. Because
Okay.
lot
Okay.
of students are there, no? It's getting disturbed, I think. Is it okay, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I think that is the best way. They can raise their hands, or they can basically,
Yeah.
and then you can unmute. They can unmute and they can speak.
Students who wants to speak, please raise your hands and ask the questions in the chat box, okay?
Okay, so any students before I start, anybody wants to basically talk about yourself a little bit? What is your name, what you're studying, and you're from which place? So I will have another 3 minutes. So I just want to know about yourself. So that will be good. So if somebody can raise your hand and if you can speak about yourself. Ma'am, there is basically they say they can't hear properly. Is there anybody, ma'am, in the coordinator is there to help so that
Yes,
this
sir. I've
technical glitches
already
can be?
informed them.
Yeah, ma'am, if you can let me know, then I can start because if they're not able to hear.
Your voice is very clear, sir. They have
Okay.
to check their in mobile or wherever through which they have joined.
Okay, ma'am. So let me share my screen and anyway, I want you to be more of interactive. So let me know once you're able to see my screen. I hope all of you are able to see my
Yes,
screen. Hello, students. Are you able to see my screen? Harilakshmi ma'am, are you able to see
yeah,
me?
sir. We are able to see. Even they are telling yes, sir. They are put it in the jar. They are putting in the chat box, sir.
Sorry, ma'am, I can't see the chat. So that's why.
Okay, okay, okay.
That's why I want them to speak when I'm speaking.
Just unmuted them, sir, because lot of students know they are making lot of noise.
Yes, I can understand. So now what I wanted to talk about is that you, as I was telling you, what we have seen the evolution of the basically the industry, evolution of the product development, how basically human also has developed around the ages, right? In fact, what we see is basically the industry 4.0, that is the buzzword that is going around you, right? In fact, how the development happened around us. It was almost in 1770, right? The first industrial revolution started when mechanized using basically the water power, that is steam power, right? They started using the machines, and from hand to machine, I think, ma'am, you can mute others who want to basically speak. Then basically they raise their hands and let you know in the chat, and then you can this thing. Otherwise, there are too many people, and others are not able to hear properly.
Yes, one person asked for the he wants to talk. Then
Yes,
I
yes.
invited.
Yeah, so please unmute him. Ma'am, is it possible to unmute the person who raised the hand only to him? Yeah, ma'am, maybe you can unmute, let him speak. Let me unshare, and you can please. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, anybody wants to speak? Please raise your hands. Hello, students. Otherwise, sir will continue his class. Please speak immediately. Hello, who wants to speak? Please raise your hands. I think nobody, sir. You can start your presentation.
Okay, so what you understand by industry 4.0? Anybody want to speak or you want to put it into the chat? So what you understand by speed 4.0, industry 4.0? Any of the students, anything you heard of? What is industry 4.0? Okay, so as I was telling you, how the industry revolution started and with the automations, and what you see around the world, right? So then basically what happens from farm to factories using the steam power, the industrial revolution started, that we call the first industrial revolution. Of course, around 100 years later, the electricity arrived, that is around 1870, when the mass production started using the assembly line, the automation, and the start of global factories started around the world, right? And of course, it was mostly in Western countries, in UK, France, Germany. They started this basically assembly lines, right? And where the mass production started. Then, of course, after 100 years, like in 1970, the computer came, and automation started. So computer came to automate the work, and we had electronics in that. So slowly, basically, more productivity started. The whole ecosystem get changed with the computer coming into that. The more automation started, right? And what we call is the fourth generation, that is currently, or the fourth industry 4.0, what we call. Basically, it starts with the smart interconnected robots, not looking at individual computerized machine, but the whole network of them. They are talking to each other, intelligent factories that are set up in the industry 4.0, and some of the underlying technologies of industry 4.0 is Internet of Things. That is what we call the IoT. Smart machines, they're connected to the networks and talk to each other so that they can diagnose among themselves their own problems and can alert that something is getting wrong within the machines. So as you can see, we have moved into a new era where there are basically each machine is talking to each other and they are interconnected. I think some of you are wearing a smartwatch, right? And using a smartwatch with how many steps you have walked, what is your BP, everything you're able to see, right? And all you're using your mobile phone, you are basically switch on your TV, you can switch off your maybe your washing machine, you can switch on your lights, you can basically close your alarm system, open your alarm system. So as you can see that using your mobile, right, you can do multiple connected to multiple other devices also, isn't it? Student, just to give you an example. So Industry 4.0 is the buzzword that is running around us, right? It is basically refers to the fourth industrial revolution, where we have seen transforming knowledge that have changed the industry, right? Industry 4.0, we can see the smart factories, connected machines, and intelligent robots. Isn't it, student? And as you can see, is that there are basically huge data that is getting collected by the IoT and with this industry, and we have got the big data, right? So we have got big data that the machines are generating enormous number of data, and we can analyze and provide predictive maintenance, predictive analysis, what is the trends and mega trends that are coming up. What we have seen also that using the AI, artificial intelligence and machine learning to make sense of this data. So what happens with the past history of data using the machine learning, we can also create predictive analysis, right? So using that, we can do predictive analysis and where the machine or assembly line will tell us whether there will be a breakdown in the coming days or so on. This will give the opportunity for us to fix the things before that actually happens. As you know, whenever there is an assembly line, if there is a breakdown happens, it takes a lot of time to get back the assembly line again. And this stoppage really creates lots of production loss. And if there is a production loss, that means there is a loss to the company also. We now are interconnected, right? With supply chain, where the ships are talking to the warehouse, and in turn are talking to the trucks, trains, cranes, to enable us to have more intelligent robot and autonomous things. Like we can have seen the vehicles, drones, the autonomous drones that are going on without human driving it, or you have seen the Tesla cars, the autonomous cars that are also coming in, right? So those are basically Industry 4.0 are basically helping them talk. As you know, in case of Tesla car, right? It basically checks using the global satellite positioning, or basically the network, wherever there is any other car is coming, or any vehicle is there, or cycle, scooter, using the image recognition, and then basically calculating the distance, and from that, and going from one place to another where it is basically supposed to go, right? So as you can see, there are basically less of human touches happening and more of automations what we see around us. So anybody of you been to a Tesla car before? Yes or no? I want the answer. Anybody of you has taken a ride on a Tesla car? So when I was in Paris last year, I basically used Tesla car. So it's really comfortable. And as you can see, it has got basically no pollution also, because it runs on battery. And inside also, it's quite spacious, and you can basically feel the difference when you are inside a Tesla car and any other car, right? So as you can see, what is happening with all this industrial revolution, it is making the human life more happy, or basically giving more congenial to use the things around it. In your mobile phone also, you have seen there is a convergence of technologies that is happening, right? Before, in fact, when the phone came, you can only call people. Later on, the messaging came, you can message people. After that, you were able to download media, and you can able to watch those, or you can, with like through WhatsApp, you can send videos on this thing. Then now also, as you can see, with the telephone networking improving from 1G to 2D to 3G to 4G, now currently we're in 5G, and already we are started talking about the 6G. So the latency of getting this information has also reduced, and that has enabled basically the use of these technologies, like the mobile technologies, and more better. I do not know how many of you play games. Are you playing games, or basically in the internet? Now you will find in India, due to latency, right, you are losing some of the games. There are some games that basically are competitions also happening around the world, and you can see the South Koreans, they're doing pretty well, they're winning, and it's a huge money around it also in the gaming, right? Now with the 5G, with less latency that is coming in, you can participate from India, and you can basically also participate in those games. And what is happening, you can also participate on those global competitions, and you can win a prize, and the prizes are quite huge, isn't it, students? Yes, PUBG is there, BGMI is there. You're absolutely right. So those are basically the new generations that are looking at. Maybe the older generations were not aware this kind of gaming that gives huge amount of money, and the competition is quite huge. You're absolutely right. So as you can see, there is a trend and mega trend that is happening around the world. The question is, are you ready to adapt yourself to this kind of trend? Yeah, anybody want to say something? Please go ahead. Hello, students. So what we were saying is that what we see is now this in the supply chains are also interconnected. For example, when ships are coming. So if you are anybody here from the port city like Cochin, Visakhapatnam, Mangalore, or any of the Chennai, if whenever there is a port, right, you will see before the ship comes to the berth, right, already the communication happens because you have to allocate the berth. Not only that, you need to have the cranes also need to be ready for that, because the more the ships stay into the port, they have to pay a fee to the port authorities, and also there is a cost to the shipping lines. So they want everything to be fast. For example, in the airlines industry, if you travel in the airlines, right, before the plane lands into the airport, all these things need to be worked out. For example, which is the gate number that you're going to come, which is the basically the where your luggage you can need to collect, right? All those things will be decided before you land. Otherwise, there will be a chaotic situation. And you can imagine when you're landing in like Delhi, Bangalore, or Mumbai airports, right, which are very, very the huge amount of traffic is there, right? So traffic control tower has to manage all those things, not only the landing of the planes. They need to arrange basically which will be the conveyor belt that will be used for the baggages, which is the gate through which the passengers will come in, right? So they need to basically ensure the ground staff, they have their basically the vehicles to carry the luggages, the security guards, so that to enable when the passenger lands, that they are properly escorted out, or they're basically proper security arrangement is that seamlessly they can come out and go and get their luggages, right? So all those things need to be worked out. Similarly, when a ship comes, you need to have basically the cranes, the if it is a huge like coal or other thing is coming, I don't know, or whatever it is, right? Then the wagons, the railway wagons need to be ready, or basically trucks need to be ready. If it containers, the container train or container trucks need to be ready, so that once they get those things from the ship, automatically they're put into with a minimum time into the trucks or the trains, right? And they can reach their destination at the minimum time. Think of the perishable goods. If it is a perishable goods, right, with the bare minimum time, those need to be sent to the wholesalers and the retailers and to the end customers. So what we see is that all basically these containers, right, are basically tracked, and the warehouses, the vehicles, all are interconnected, so that they can basically get the with the bare minimum time can get those things down from the ships and put it into to the end users at the fast possible time. And for this, what we use is we can see a lot of AI ML is also is done, right? Robots you will find they're being programmed so that at the bare minimum time, all those things, activities can be done. So next is the Industry 4.0, the intelligent connected robots and smart machines. It means that we need to rethink our businesses and to take the businesses from the third industrial revolution to the new brave world of fourth generation. And we need to develop our skills, what and how people will play in all of this. And that is why it is very, very critical and important that you need to think how you want to place yourself, what is your passion, and how you will going to adapt yourself into this ever-changing world, and how you're going to fit yourself in this ecosystem. So if the business do not adapt to the new changes in the Industry 4.0, they will be left behind, right? And they need to be smart, efficient, and technologically advanced, which will make their systems and the product absolutely higher or better than the competitors, and otherwise they will perish and will be left behind. So that is why you need to understand why you need to basically develop yourself, why you need to understand what are the trends, mega trends happening, and how you need to adapt yourself. Okay, students, are you able to hear me? Yes, students. Ma'am, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So what we see is basically the artificial intelligence has been introduced in 1956. So before that, artificial intelligence, let's go to see a video. I think that will really help you. So let's go and see a video about Industry 4.0. Please let me know, are you
Zero.
yeah.
And what does it mean for you? Technology is driving change across all areas of society. Not only do we increasingly use it and even rely on it in our personal lives, we also find our workplaces digitally evolving, with more and more processes now being undertaken using technology. This change is known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 will see
I hope all of you are able to see and hear the video. Any issues anybody is seeing? Other students? Are you able to see and hear the video? Harilakshmi ma'am, are you?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
many tasks that were once performed by us now being automated. With the collection and analysis of real-time data, artificial intelligence, and the ability for all components of a production line to talk to each other, production can be really efficient and personalized according to customer needs. But what does this mean for us? With increased automation, our time will be freed up for concentrating on more complex tasks. We will need a work.
So as you can see, the most important thing is that let these machines do the recurring work, the monotonous work, and we can free ourselves to do the more intelligent, analytical work, isn't it? So based on this, as you can see, the humans are trying to improve their way of work, the thinking process.
Workforce who are capable of building, programming, and developing these technologies, but also making sure we are applying them to our lives in an ethical way. There are core skills that we can offer that technology cannot replace. The human touch is going to be incredibly important, ensuring effective communication, problem solving, and supporting change management in this digital environment. There will also be a greater need for joint working across disciplines, creating.
And as you can see, with the world becoming smaller and smaller, in the sense with the connectivity improving, what in the industry, I think some of you will be going to the industry and looking for some services in the industry. Others may think of basically as an entrepreneur. Now, you need to think that you need to basically network with your people who are basically in the different parts of the world. You need to basically connect with them, right? That is why you need to basically speak. Otherwise, the other people will not, if you do not have the proper channel of communication, other will not be knowing what is your thought process or what you want to mention. And innovation is basically has to be done as through a teamwork, right? And that is why, as you know, team actually means together everyone achieve more. So you need to basically be part of the team, help the team to grow faster. Because in the industry, people looks at the cricket team or a football team where all the 11 players working their part and become a winning team, right? They are not looking basically at this individual players to tackle dribbling past all other players and making a goal, right? So in the industry, the more the teams they're having, the winning teams, the more basically the company will grow. And that is what the teams are also looking at, the companies.
New innovations. The future job market will be looking for graduates with an open mind to explore the unknown future possibilities.
So are you ready for this? Yes, student. Yes or no? With Industry 4.0 that is bringing it to you. As you can see, the Industry 4.0 is the big buzzword that is running around us, right? And that is transforming the industry. And Industry 4.0 is basically talking about the smart factories, interconnected machines, and intelligent robots. And Industry 4.0, what we are seeing are the components are the autonomous systems, programs, machineries, and robots to act autonomously. Cloud computing, use remote servers to store, manage, and process data for faster processes. Additive manufacturing or digital 3D design data to build layers by depositing materials. And basically, as you can see, 3D designs are already getting popular and are reducing the overall time of end-to-end, basically production also. Augmented reality or AR. Then you have got the virtual reality where I think Pokemon, all of you have played, and most of you, and you have seen how that has basically affected the gaming also, right? So those are basically some of the things that is ever changing, right? Big data that can determine further actions and improve processes. Cybersecurity is very, very critical and important, right? You have seen that whenever there, I think a few years back, there was in Maharashtra, there was a power failure of almost 1.5 days to 2 days. And it was told that because of the security breach, there was basically a cyber attack happened and all the electricity grid went into basically a problem. And as you know, it was told that our neighbor basically basically the hackers from there did this purpose. You have seen during the Russia-Ukraine war also, just before the start of the war in Ukraine, basically the government offices and this thing, the hackers broke it down and the system were down for a few hours. You have also seen that during NASA or basically some of the defense institutes in the USA, the hackers basically are able to penetrate and able to basically steal some of the data, or basically there are some hackers just mentioned that we have done it for fun. And there are also some hackers who penetrate this kind of security system and ask for a ransom. Until unless you pay them, they will not basically unlock the system. Yes, students. Any question from your side? So the government also spent huge amount of money for the national assets to protect them. For example, you have got the nuclear power plants in India, right? You have got the defense institutes. All those things need to be protected. Otherwise, who are the enemy of India, or maybe unwanted people can penetrate and get that information. Similarly, in a company, right? Now they have got basically quite a bit of data which is secretive to them, and they should not, others or competitors should not know. For example, a company that is bidding a major project. Now, they need to do a technical specifications. Based on that, they do the solution. Then there will be commercial, based on which they will create the pricing. Now, everything that will be stored into some team site or into some storage place within the company. If any other hackers from the competitors could break it or sell those information to the competitors, right? They will not able to win this opportunity. So that is why each and every organization also have got a strong security system. Next is that when they launch a product also, they also need to properly check those products that there is no issue with the security. Otherwise, if it is found, they have to pay a huge penalty, right? So security also is, cyber security is also very, very critical and important. And whatever I'm talking about, see, these are all basically different components of Industry 4.0. These are some of them, right? Now, wherever your passion goes, you can take it up and you can study on this. Next is Internet of Things, IoT, which connects interact to machine to send, receive, and process data. And IoT is the big thing. As you can see, billions and billions of IoT devices are there around the world, and it is increasing in a very, very rapid speed. Next is big data, which basically analyze the huge data, and it can be structured or unstructured data. So these are basically some of the things I want to talk about. There are many other things and aspects, but wherever your passion goes, you can basically look into it. For example, the big data analytics leads to intelligent business moves, more effective operational and higher profits for the organization, and it increases the customer satisfaction. It can be used to predict future events, foresee risk, reduce dependencies, and future. It can also basically what are the future events it can happen. It can predict or based on the data, and it drives and based on the past events and offers a continuous improvement rather than periodic improvements on systems and processes, and provide a constant feedback to the organization, and based on that, they can take their actions. Identify new markets, expands into the niche markets, tap into the new customers bases, faster computer intimacy, and improve the profit margin by reducing the waste and increasing the productivity. Right, student? So Industry 4.0 will prioritize the long-term business goals over the low-risk, short-term return and success in today's smart manufacturing environment. Because if you want to survive in your industry, you need to have a plan, proper plan for the midterm and long-term also. So before I move to the other topics, I just wanted to check with you, do you have got any questions? And then I will move on to the next slide. Yes, students, now back to you. Do you have got any questions? You can raise your hand or you can unmute yourself and you can let me know. Yes, students, any questions from anybody? So you have seen how basically we are moved into the Industry 4.0 from Industry 1.0. Industry 2.0 to 3.0 to 4.0, and we are more using IoT, and we are going with AI, ML, and automations. And I hope most of you are into the computer field, right? You're into the computer students, isn't it? Yes or no? Yes, students. Okay, let me share my screen again. I hope you will see it. Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's go to the AI, the artificial intelligence. It was basically founded by an academic discipline in 1956. So you can see it's AI, though the buzzword it is around now, but you can see it's was long, long back. The discussion was there on the AI. The term AI was first coined in 1956 by Professor John McCarthy at a conference in Dartmouth in UK. AI research has tried and discarded many different approaches since its founding, including simulating the brain, modeling of human problem solving, formal logic, large databases of knowledge, and imitating animal behavior. So as you can see, initially they started the research and this thing, checking out the animal behavior, how the animal behaves, right? Also started looking into the human brains, how the modeling of the things we do, how we do a problem solving. So what are the things? So as you can see, a lot of research has gone behind and to develop basically how the AI will work. Of course, now we talk about machine learning and deep learning, which helps into the AI, right? Now, next is the traditional goals of AI research includes reasoning, knowledge representation, planning, learning, and natural language processing, perception, and ability to move and manipulate objects. So I'm just going to some theoretical aspect, what is basically the definition of AI. Now, AI is basically intelligence demonstrated by machines. AI research has been defined as a field of study of intelligent agents, which refers to any system that perceives its environment and takes actions that maximizes its chance of achieving the goal. The term artificial intelligence had previously been used to describe machines. Most important thing you have to remember is mimic and display human cognitive skills that are associated with the human mind, such as learning and problem solving, right? So this is where mimicking what has been done. So I can tell you, when I was studying in University of Paderborn in Germany, as you know, University of Paderborn has got the world's largest computer lab in the world. So there was a robot basically where whatever basically action you do, it will basically imitate and will try to do the same thing. For example, you move your hand, the robot in front of you will also move the hand. So if you basically move your leg, the robot also will move your leg. So what it was trying to do, it is trying to mimic what you are trying to do, right? So using, of course, more and more improvement are being done using the algorithm and logic. Whatever you are asking the robots to do, the robot will start doing it. And then basically what happens using the artificial intelligence, what we see in the drones, for example. Now, if there is another drone coming in, right, or there is a change in the weather, artificial intelligence already built into it so that it knows what action that it to take, so that once it goes from one place to another, using its own intelligence, it will basically maneuver and will reach that place. Yes, student, question from your side? Can we move on to the next slide? So next definition is that AI researchers have adopted and integrated a wide range of common problem-solving techniques, including search and mathematical optimization, formal logic, artificial neural networks, methods based on statistics, probability, and economics. AI has also drawn upon the computer science, psychology, linguistics, philosophy, and any other fields, right? The word was found on the assumptions that human intelligence can be precisely described, that a machine can be made and simulated. So just to let you know what are the things artificial intelligence does, is based on the general learning, it's based on the reasoning and the problem solving. In short, you have got weak AI and strong AI. Weak AI focus on one task, whereas the strong AI that only exists in the fiction. So AI is the science of getting the machines to mimic the behavior of humans. Machine learning is a subset of AI that focuses on getting the machines to make the decisions by feeding them data. And deep learning is the subset of machine learning that uses the concept of neural networks to solve complex problems. AI and machine learning are interconnected fields, and machine learning and deep learning helps AI by providing a set of algorithms. Okay, I know you are getting a little bit this thing because you are also not interacting. Let's go and see some videos. I think that will make you understand much, much better. Okay, so let's go to some videos. And as I told you, I want to be more interactive. Please let me know your questions also.
This, a machine that could organize your cupboard just as you like it, or serve every member of the house a customized cup of coffee. Makes your day easier, doesn't it? These are the products of artificial intelligence. But why use the term artificial intelligence? Well, these machines are artificially incorporated with human-like intelligence to perform tasks as we do. This intelligence is built using complex algorithms and mathematical functions. But AI may not be as obvious as in the previous examples. In fact, AI is used in smartphones, cars, social media feeds, video games, banking, surveillance, and many other aspects of our daily life. The real question is, what does an AI do at its core? Here is a robot we built in our lab. which is now dropped onto a field. In spite of a variation in lighting, landscape, and dimensions of the field, the AI robot must perform as expected. This ability to react appropriately to a new situation is called generalized learning. The robot is now at a crossroad, one that is paved and the other rocky. The robot must determine which path to take based on the circumstances. This portrays the robot's reasoning.
So as you can see, one is generalized learning. Next, as you can see, the robot has been built with reasoning, right? Now, you can see a wave path and a rocky path, which one it should take. So already there is a question mark that is coming. And based on basically the algorithm and basically the reasoning that is built into the robot, that it will try to take its own decision and will move forward. And that is where the AI helps.
After a short stroll, the robot now encounters a stream that it cannot swim across. Using the plank provided as an input, the robot is able to cross this stream. So, our robot uses the given input and finds the solution for a problem. This is problem solving. These three capabilities make the robot artificially intelligent.
Okay, so if I go a little bit back, right?
An input and finds the solution for a problem. This is problem solving. These three capabilities.
So these are the three capabilities you need to understand. That is basically very, very important. Generalized learning, reasoning, and problem solving. Right, student? Any questions?
Make the robot artificially intelligent. In short, AI provides machines with the capability to adapt, reason, and provide solutions. Well, now that we know what AI is, let's have a look at the two broad categories an AI is classified into. Weak AI, also called narrow AI, focuses solely on one task.
Can you give me an example of an weak AI? Yes, students. Any example of a weak AI? Anybody want to participate and give me an answer? What is a weak AI? Yes, students, I want to be more interactive. Let me know. Can you give me an example of a weak AI?
ChatGPT.
Any other?
For example, AlphaGo
Any other? Okay.
is a maestro of the game Go, but you can't expect it to be even remotely good at chess. This makes AlphaGo a weak AI. You might say Alexa is definitely not a weak AI, since
So
it
I know Siri, Alexa, you have using it, right? Some of you. So Alexa is what? Strong AI or weak AI? Yes, students.
Strong, sir, strong.
Okay, why are you saying strong? Any reason? Yes, students. Well, Alexa is not a strong AI. Let's listen.
can perform multiple tasks. Well,
It's a
that's
weak
not
AI.
really true. When you ask Alexa to play Despacito, it picks up the keywords play and Despacito and runs a program it is trained to. Alexa cannot respond to a question it isn't trained to answer. For instance, try asking Alexa.
So as you can see, it's only trained to answer whatever the things has been fed into Alexa, right? Now, those things has not been fed into Alexa, it will not able to recognize and it will not able to answer. And that is why it's a weak AI. You got your answer? Yes, student. So thanks for answering. So others, please participate. It is good for you. You will learn only.
The status of traffic from work to home. Alexa cannot provide you this information, as she is not trained to. And that brings us to our second category of AI, strong AI. Now, this is much like the robots that only exist in fiction as of now. Ultron from a
So as you can see, strong AI still doesn't exist. So researchers are working on it to have a strong AI still. You can see ChatGPT, of course, it is highly improved AI, but still a lot of work need to be done.
Avengers is an ideal example of a strong AI. That's because it's self-aware and eventually even develops emotions. This makes the AI's response unpredictable. You must be wondering, well, how is artificial intelligence different from machine learning and deep learning? We saw what AI is. Machine learning is a technique to achieve AI, and deep learning, in turn, is a subset of machine learning. Machine learning provides a machine with the capability to learn from data and experience through algorithms. Deep learning does this learning through ways inspired by the human brain. This means through deep learning, data and patterns can be better perceived. Ray Kurzweil, a well-known futurist, predicts that by the year 2045, we would have robots as smart as humans. This is called the point of singularity. Well, that's not all. In fact, Elon Musk predicts that the human mind and body will be enhanced by AI implants, which
So already, if you are aware, there are research are going on where already, as you know, chips are inserted into humans. Already in Nordics, there are humans where the chips are inserted. You don't have to carry your credit cards, nothing, using your this thing hand where the chips is already inserted. You can basically pay the amounts. So a lot of debates is going around the world whether you have got your fellow students inserted with the chips, and a student, for example, you're appearing an exam, right? A student, your friend is already inserted with a chip. You can basically have all the answers, right? Whereas you are studying so hard, you may not, because humans retention is also quite weak, right? And that is why maybe you're scoring less, where your friend who are already inserted with a chip will be scoring on higher marks. But in practicality, when we go to use both of them in the industry, maybe you will be doing better because you will be coming into a situation which your friend has not experienced. Yes, anybody want to speak something?
Hello. Hello.
Yes. If can you ask your friends to unmute, mute their mobiles or this thing so that you can speak? Yeah, please speak. Hello. I'm not able to hear you. You want to say something? Hello. Harilakshmi ma'am, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
So I think one student want to speak something. Is there any coordinator who can help them? Because I'm not able to hear. There's so many background noises of this thing. Or you can put it into the chat.
They
I
are
will look
putting
into the
it
chat
like-
and I will answer.
Some of them are putting putting into the chat, sir. I'll unmute, mute them, let them put into the chat, sir. Otherwise, when they are talking to their friends, it will disturb you, sir.
Okay, so put your question on the chat, I will answer. Okay.
which would make us partly cyborgs. So, here's a question for you.
So
Which of
okay, so I will just next I go to this thing. So as you can see, what is happening is that now there is a global debate that is also going on, right? Now, what will happen if a friend, for example, I was telling you, he is basically inserted with a chip. Of course, he can basically have retention power of the knowledges will be much more higher and can reproduce better into the exam and score better marks than you. But think of this, somebody basically if can penetrate into the security system of that, right? And take controls of your friend. So all your friend actions and whatever he's doing is not done by him. It is done and controlled by somebody who is sitting far off. Isn't it? Yes, students. So you can understand the pros and cons. In the first, you were thinking, wow, my friend having a chip, he can score better than me. So why don't I get the chip inserted? So as you can see, that if that person loses the control over himself and do something illegal, then of course he will be inside the jail or maybe going through really tough time. And the actions is not done by him. It is done by somebody who's controlling him. So that's why, as you can see, Elon Musk, and somebody's talking about the ChatGPT, the creator of ChatGPT. They are all talking about regulations in AI has to be done. In fact, they say the ChatGPT is saying, let not further more investigation or investments and the development in AI is happen until unless there's proper regulation. Elon Musk is also saying that next 6 months, let's stop all AI work. Let's first have the regulation, because they are fearing that if we go in this rapid speed of developing AI without proper regulation, and if it falls into the wrong people's hand, that can create havoc with the human society, right? So the good thing is that you need to learn AI, you need to develop AI, you have to invest on AI, you need to do innovation on AI for the benefit of humanity rather than for detrimental to the human society. You have seen that during basically the first using the one of the drones using the AI that was done in Syria. It was basically a Turkish drone where basically using the facial recognition, right? It basically fired a missile and it killed that person, right? Now think of basically if it goes to the wrong way of using AI, right? Where basically using the facial recognition, they identify the key people of a country, and using the swarm drone, basically they fired missile and directly attack those people and can eliminate all the key people of their enemies. So as you can see that AI can bring good benefit to the society, and also it can create a problem to the society if it is not properly done. Yes, students, any questions? So AI and machine learning are interconnected fields, and machine learning and deep learning helps AI by providing a set of algorithms and neural networks to solve data-driven problems, right? However, AI is not restricted to only machine learning and deep learning. It covers a first domain, example, neural language processing, object detection, computer vision, robotics, and expert systems, and so on. AI can be structured in 3 ways. One is artificial narrow intelligence, VKI, and it does only a specific task. Then is artificial general intelligence, strong AI that performs intelligent tasks. And then artificial super intelligence. So artificial general intelligence, you can be the ChatGPT you can talk about, right? And artificial super intelligence, the research is still going on, and we need to see those things coming up in future. For example, in finance sector, JP Morgan Chase, a contract management platform, uses an AI and machine learning and image recognition software to analyze the legal documents and extract for important data points. And in a matter of seconds, it retrieves basically more than 1 lakh agreements, and which covers 36,000 hours of work, right? Into very few seconds, it basically provides which are the important tasks. So what does AI does? AI was able to do it in a matter of seconds to identify what are the data points that is required. Otherwise, humanly, it is not possible. In the healthcare sector, IBM, right, is a pioneer that in basically artificial intelligence also. They developed an AI software specifically for medicine, which was developed with help of more than 230 healthcare organizations worldwide. Currently uses this IBM technology called IBM Watson, right? In 2016, IBM Watson technology was able to cross-reference more than 20 million oncology records and correctly diagnoses a rare leukemia condition in a patient. So as you can see, these are some of the benefits of AI, where AI has really helped the people. Now, Google AI Doctor can examine the rare scans and identify the conditions called the diabetic retinopathy, which causes blindness. So here, how basically you can see using AI, the people are able to help and understand AI much, much better. In case of social media, like Facebook, AI is used to face verification. That is basically using the facial recognition, where machine learning and deep learning concepts are used to detect the facial features and tag your friends to your Facebook, right? In Twitter, what we see is has been filtered using the AI has been done to identify the hate speeches or any terrorist activities in speech and communication, and by using the machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing to filter the offensive content, and more than 3 lakh terrorist account has been closed. For example, you have seen in Google, where it has the predictive searches are based on the data that Google collects from your actions, from your location, from your age, from your personal details by using AI. And based on that, you have seen in the Google, the searches you do. For example, you like cricket, if you type the ball cricket, automatically you, based on your past history of your search and this thing, automatically all the information about the cricket comes. It doesn't give you the baseball or football or soccer. And that is how you will find in Amazon also, the search engine really helps you. That is also using AI. Okay, so let's go to another video, but let's see what about the global leaders are saying about the AI.
Google, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft are all moving ahead.
So I hope all of you know who is Bill Gates is, that, right?
At a great speed in improving this artificial intelligence software. So it's very exciting. Software is going to solve that, where it'll look at all the new information and present to you, knowing about your interests, what would be most valuable. So making us more efficient.
We're focusing on what we've talked about on autonomous systems. And we sort of see it as the mother of all AI projects. So autonomy is something that's incredibly exciting for us. We'll see where it takes us.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
So do you know who is Warren Buffett is? Any students? He is basically one of the famous investor and one of the billionaires and one of the richest person on the earth, right? So he is having a huge amount of wealth, and let's hear from him. So if you want to be an investor or you want to go through the business, you should listen what Warren Buffett is also saying.
If someday we got to the point where there were robots every place, they were running farms, they were running Apple, they were running Berkshire Hathaway, and all you had to do was one person could punch a button at the start of every morning, and all the goods and services that we're getting now would be turned out by robots.
It is seeping into our lives in all sorts of ways that we just don't notice. We're just getting better and better at it, and we're seeing that happen in every aspect of our lives, from medicine to transportation to how electricity is distributed. And it promises to create a vastly more productive and efficient economy. And if properly harnessed, can generate enormous prosperity for people, opportunity for people, can cure diseases that we haven't seen before,
So as you can know, huge amount of investment is going on the pharmaceuticals, medical, and this thing, right? Based on the past history, right? They are trying to identify whether, for example, your parents in your family has got any heart attack problem. Now, based on basically your habits, or basically based on, as you know, in your phone, you have got the location, how much you're traveling, or based on your heartbeats, you can have the smartphones, smart mobiles that captures the exercises what you're doing, how much of uh, the heartbeats you're having every day or every minute, that can pass on to the doctors or to this database, right? And based on that, they're able to basically analyze and let you know that whether you got a chance of a heart attack, or what are the prevention. Automatically, a doctors, they can make you aware that you need to go for a checkup. So as you can see, that there is a lot of preventive medicine research going on also, right? So there are enormous amount of data that are basically using the big data, and basically using the supercomputers. As you can see, the computers getting the information and helping the mankind on providing you the solution in medical care. Think of the COVID, during the COVID, right? As you know, creating a vaccine takes almost a decade, because it needs to be tested. Only once it is tested properly, if there are any reaction or not, and based on that, it can be sent to the market, right? But the time for the COVID vaccines, when everybody needs the vaccine as soon as possible. So using AI, they have reduced the overall time to the market, right? So as you can see, huge amount of investments are going on in the medical and pharmaceutical industry also, for the betterment of the human and for developing the medicines and the vaccines around the world.
Make us safer because it eliminates inherent human error in a lot.
I hope all of you are able to hear. Hello, students.
A lot of work.
Artificial intelligence is going to be extremely helpful, and the risk that it gets super smart, that's way out in the future, and probably worth talking about. But now what we're seeing is that for the first time, computers can see as well as humans. That's pretty incredible.
Let's do a study on Tesla's Autopilot version 1, which is relatively primitive.
So, students, do you know who is Elon Musk is? I hope all of you know, right? Is it or not? Do you know what is SpaceX? Any student want to volunteer? Or you can put into the chat, do you know what is SpaceX is talking about? He's the owner for that. Maybe you're using the Paytm, right? It's basically taken from PayPal. Maybe you're not aware, the PayPal also was his own venture. Of course, he later on sold it, right? So as you can see, he has got into the world with multiple theories and ideas and made those into production or into viable projects. So his destructive thinking process has created new innovations, new thought process, which others may not have thought also. So that is why whenever he speaks or whenever he provides a new thought process, people around the world take it seriously because of his destructive thinking process, right? So why I'm showing you about the different leaders in the world, because they're leaders because of the thought process, because of the thinking process, and they are basically revolutionary in their thinking process and make it into a product or a viable project, which you are seeing. Before Apple had come, right? We were not using Apple phones, but people, once they start using the Apple phone, they see a sea change into the technology, now how the technology has evolved, right? So this has brought into new dimension, the new ecosystem where we are living in. So you need to understand the trends and mega trends that is happening around you. Are you able to adopt yourself? Are you able to change yourself to be part of this global revolution or this dynamic world, right? So that is why you need to basically have a continuous learning and also participate in the global what are happening around you.
And found that it was a 45% reduction in highway accidents. And that's despite Autopilot 1 being
You're talking about the Tesla car.
Version 2, I think, will be at least 2 or 3 times better. That's the current version that's running right now. So the rate of improvement is really dramatic, but we have to figure out some way to ensure that the advent of digital superintelligence is one which is symbiotic with humanity.
AI is probably the most important thing humanity has ever worked on.
See, Sundar Pichai, he's an Indian, and you can basically, he's now heading the Google, right? In fact, you need to know that now, in fact, our best teacher is actually a Google nowadays, right? If you want to ask anything, we don't go to a teacher or to our parents. We just type it in the Google to find it. So as you can see, the Google also basically use a very, very powerful AI tool based on your past searches, based on the location you have been, right? Based on the all your inputs into the system that it has stored and captured. Based on that, it tries to provide you the best solution for you or best searches for you. So as you can see that this industry, they're investing hugely on the AI part. And AI is not for today. It is going to grow more and more in the future also. And are you basically ready for these changes? Are you have a passion to work on that? Until unless if you have that passion, there are so many people around the world are working on that. You can see during the war also, that Russia-Ukraine, right? The technology evolvement has happened. Previously, if you see Turkey with its drones were able to win the war with given to Azerbaijan and Armenia war. Once we've seen that, right? In fact, Armenia was more powerful, having more basically advanced defense equipment. But when the war started, Azerbaijan used Israeli and Turkish drones, and they were inherited the vehicles, armors, the tanks and infantry vehicles of Armenia and won the war. So as you can see, drones played an important role. When in the Russia-Ukraine war also, we can see the drones are playing a very, very critical role. Till now, in fact, Russia was using the drones which did not have the night vision. Now they are advancing in the drone technology also. And lately they're using the drones with night vision and basically creating a big problem for the Ukrainians. Now, if you see, you have seen of the Wagner, who are basically are the stormtroopers who basically advance into the enemy and they fight their way through. And of course, when you're fighting face to face, you have huge casualties. Now they're trying to develop automated robots. The robots will go into the trenches and will fight for them. So what will happen? There will be less human casualties. So as you can see, there is also a change that is happening in the warfare or in the defense, because defense is also a big spender on AI and automation and also the new technologies. Right? So let's listen to again to Sundar Pichai.
I think of it as something more profound than electricity or fire. And anytime you work with technology, you need to learn to harness the benefits and while minimizing the downsides. You know, stepping back, when you think about, a lot of problems in the world, today it's because we typically have a constraint on resources. AI, for the first time, I think over time, offers a different construct. Things which are constrained and look like a zero-sum game today may not be so in the future. Take education, for example. It's really difficult to educate people in a cost-effective way. AI may fundamentally change that equation. It may make it possible for us to have clean, cheap, renewable energy for the future. So I think a lot of things will play out in more positive ways than people think.
I think probably by end of next year, self-driving will encompass essentially all modes of driving and be at least 100 to 200% safer than a person by the end of next year. I'm talking maybe 18 months from now.
So you have heard what our top leaders are saying, right? Yes, student, any questions? Hello, students, any questions from anybody before we move on to the next thing? So what you understand is that AI is going to play a very, very critical role in your future also. Think of Tesla going to create a mega factory in India. That's what the discussion is going on. And that will basically give you an opportunity of millions of people to get additional job opportunities. Because it's not going to create the car for India. It is going to create the car that's going to export. What you have seen is that Apple, right? It has been multiple subcontractors out there who manufacture Apple's phone. And you can see Foxconn, other subcontractors of Apple already set up mega factories. In fact, near Bangalore itself, there is a factory where more than 10,000 people are working. So one of their subcontractor is setting up a huge factory near Chennai. And already a discussion is happening of one of the contractors to set up a mega factory near Bangalore, where almost 1 lakh people is going to work. So as you can see, with this emerging new manufacturing base that is going to come to India, you're going to see enormous amount of job opportunities. Next is that, as you know, Government of India is also providing PLI schemes, right? That is performance linked schemes or production linked schemes, right? So production linked schemes is basically where based on your production, you will get basically incentive from the government. So based on that, huge number of companies have already applied to the government and they will start their production soon. In fact, there are basically some of the semiconductors companies also are planning to invest huge in India and create the semiconductors, the designs and for that, for the chips. Because any IoT product what you purchase has got a semiconductor, right? The chip into it. During the COVID, you have seen the prices of the car went up very, very high because in the supply chain, they were not able to get the chips because any smart car will have a chips, isn't it? So when I was in Germany, there was a research that was going on. In fact, one of the major leading car manufacturing company, BMW, they were planning and developing on the headlights. Whenever a car that approaches the car, automatically the car will lower the headlights so that it does not disturb the opposite driver that flashes the headlight onto the other person. And also if there is a light, sensing the light, right, the sensors, it will basically reduce the amount of light from the headlight. So you can see the development that is happening around you, the innovations that are happening around you, that basically only to benefit humans. So using that headlight only, it can save a lot of accidents because if the car that is coming opposite of it, if it flashes the light onto the driver, there is a chance of an accident because the driver may not be able to see properly, right? So similarly, there are some street lights where sensors are attached. If there is people are not there in that street, automatically the street light will be switched off And when the people or the car comes into that street, it will be switched on. So by doing that, it will basically saves a lot of energy because resource is limited, right? So as you can see, there are so many developments that are happening, and AI is playing a major role, right? Any questions, students? If you don't have any questions, let me share my screen again. I hope all of you are able to see my screen, right? Yes, students. You can see the screen, right? Now let's talk about some examples of AI. Now, in case of your search engine in the Google, as I told you, it is based on the AI, based on your past history, based on your location, right? It basically helps Google to provide you better results. If you go to basically YouTube, right? Based on your past YouTubes that you have seen or whatever that you have typed, it keeps and stored those data information, right? And used on that, it able to provide you kind of a YouTubes that you're looking at. For example, if somebody is interested on travel and he has been watching on basically YouTube videos on travel, right? Then whenever he will see the YouTube videos, YouTube, you will see that a lot of videos on travel pop up in his screen. How that happens? It happens because he has been watching a lot of videos on travel. Similarly, if any of you are interested on music and you've only been watching more, not only, I will say more watching on musical videos, right? Or a particular singer. Now, what you will see when you go and to your YouTube, you will see musical videos and of course, that particular singer whom you are watching a lot. Next, if you think of Amazon, for example, how Amazon, if you go and see you basically ordering a lot of things in Amazon, but when you see an Amazon, you will see the discounts or you will find some of the items which you have purchased before. It also says that you have not ordered it for the last 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. How do you want to order it? Based on your past history, past orders, it basically stores those and comes to you and try to help you that these are your preferences and whether you are looking at. For example, somebody looks into purchase more of Nike shoes, socks, or Nike products, right? Now, once he opens the Amazon, he can find whatever the discounts are basically in the search itself, more of Nike product that is there. And that is all because of the AI based on the information that is already stored in his past history, or basically whatever he has typed or the searches he has done or preferences he has taken or liked those things are kept in his for the future purchase in his the storage, right? So based on that, it collects. Similarly, if you see the Netflix or any other basically serials you watch, any of those in your mobile phone or in your laptop, right? What it does, the series you have been watching or some of the actors you have been watching, it gives you the first preference to look into those. So what it does, it helps to understand your preference, understand what you are looking at. That is also based on the AI. Right, student? Any questions? Next is basically, you can see based on the voice recognition, Siri or Alexa will basically listen to you and will, based on your direction, it will work, right? So that is how this has been done. Self-driving cars, Tesla, it is an autonomous cars based on the satellite positioning, based on the GSM or networking, based on the image recognition, whether it is a bullock cart or whether it is a car or it is a cycle or a scooter, it need to identify. It identifies the roads from one place to another place is going to go, and there is no drivers, so we need to identify, take the proper action. automated decision making and competing at the highest level in the strategic game systems such as chess or Go or like PUBG or whatever games you're playing, right? So those are the games also. You need to take a decision, and you have got basically your opponent is basically a robot or a computer, right? It basically, if you play a chess, it takes a basically plays one of the pawn or a king or a queen or the horse, right, or elephant. And you have to play based on your move, and then it takes its own move and it plays against you, right? So as you can see, there is a huge development that is going on in the gaming industry also, and where also it is based on a lot of AI work. Now, some of you, if you want to go and pursue your career in that, you can see a huge demand also that is happening. So that's why I'm saying to you, which were not the scope or opportunities were not in the past, but with the development currently, we are seeing a huge scope of development, right, that we perceive in the whole ecosystem, the trends, mega trends that are happening, and changes that we are seeing around us, right? So these are some of the examples of an AI. So after that, the goals of AI is basically what we understand is reasoning, problem solving, knowledge representation. Next is planning, automated planning and scheduling, like learning and machine learning using NLP. So read and understand the human language, perception. That is machine perceived use of sensors, computers vision, ability to analyze and visual inputs, speech recognition, facial recognition, object recognition. So these are some of the most important things and goals that basically the AI are able to do. Any question from anybody before I move on to the next slide? Yes, students. Next is the social intelligence, recognize, interpret, process, or simulate human feelings, emotion, and mood. So these are basically the future, what they're looking at, the human feeling and emotion. Still now, that is still lacking, because that is where a lot of investments and innovations are going on. General intelligence, a machine with general intelligence can solve a wide variety of problems with breadth and versatility of similar human intelligence. So those are basically the goal, and the research is going on, and where basically we can see ChatGPT has come and more such product using ChatGPT, how you can basically get and help the humans to, for example, nowadays, if you want to write an essay or any of your project work you're doing, you directly go to ChatGPT provided and it comes, right? And at a tremendous fast speed, you get all the details. Now, you need to know how to better utilize it. The analysis and part is yours, but you get all the raw material or basically data that is required. Otherwise, you need to spend huge amount of time going through the Google library or search internet, but those things are not required. Already the ChatGPT is providing you all the informations. So how many of you are using ChatGPT? Yes, students. How many of you are using ChatGPT? Yes, students. Are you using ChatGPT? Anyone of you are using ChatGPT? Okay, no problem. So this is the last topic for today. So let me share my screen, and then we will take a break. So I hope all of you are able to see my screen, right? Yes, students, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the three types of artificial intelligence, which I've told you before, that is artificial narrow intelligence, which basically specialize in one area and solves one problem. You have seen Alexa, Siri, right? So these are basically artificial nano intelligence. Next is the artificial general intelligence, what we call AGI, is the machine learning that refers to computer that is as smart as a human across the board, right? And the third is basically artificial super intelligence, machine consciousness, that is an intellect that is much smarter than best human brains in practically every field, right? Now that is this one. As you can see, the stage 3, a lot of innovations are going on. Still we are not at this stage. Now as you can see here, right, still human brain is much more powerful, right? So it is you need to adopt and think through how you can best utilize it, and how you can basically looking into the trends and mega trends, how you can adapt yourself and benefit yourself in this whole ecosystem that is you are part of it. See, everybody has got a different passion, and for everybody there is a huge and enormous scope in this whole world. So don't think if you don't like basically using the work, for example, security, there is a lot of scope. If you are analytical brain, analytics you like, you can go for big data analytics, right? If you are thinking of using in gaming, right, you can have that passion and develop maybe part of the gaming software development, or maybe testing of the gaming softwares, or you can basically participate yourself as one of the gamers. But don't, you've seen the World Cup cricket also. Nowadays also a lot of analytics is done about the opponent players. For example, if you see the fielding placing in the cricket World Cup, right, they have already done research and found out whether the player is basically, what are the weaknesses of the batsman, whether he has got any weakness against bouncers, whether he has got any weakness against Yorkers, right, whether he is not able to play leg spin. Now, whether he's not has got some weakness against Chinaman, or whether he has got any short pitch deliveries. Next is that whether he's a want to play in the offside or in the leg side, right? So based on that, the fielding are also placed and done so that to make the opponent out as soon as possible. So as you can see, there are a lot of research or also goes inside playing a game also. So there are enormous scope, and there are basically a lot of opportunities that are around you. So think through, work yourself, and I'm absolutely confident that you will be able to achieve the highest level. Okay, so with this, I want to close today's session and have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you, everybody.